Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday, Supernatural News. I am Tim Dennis. Along with me, the best in the Midwest, my co-hostess this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Mallie Fox. Mallie, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Splendid.
Fabulous.
Splendid as always. The weather doing a little up and down here in the Twin Cities. It's 22 whole degrees. It is seasonal this year. That's for sure. I'll tell you that much. Seasonal. Although I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Christmas this year. I really am. I got a little more. I know we're going to get into supernatural news here shortly. I broke out my Charlie Brown tree this weekend.
You did?
I did. Now, most people's Charlie Brown tree, literally when you say Charlie Brown tree, they do sell one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a little Charlie Brown tree. And
Yeah.
it has like one or two bulbs on it. Mine is just a fiber optic 3-foot Christmas tree, but it's really pretty. It kind of, sparkles and dances and stuff like that.
Look at you. You got your Charlie Brown tree and you have your Grinch outside.
I do. I have my inflatable Grinch outside. So yeah, I'm ready for Christmas. I'm ready. I'm normally not. Yeah, I'm normally not of the celebrating ilk.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm ready.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything having to do with today, but
that put you in a good mood.
Yeah. I'm in a festive mood.
Yeah.
I even have eggnog in the fridge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you just need to bake some cookies.
We won't get carried away. I'll buy them.
Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. What about what is it? The Festivus? Is it like a Festivus pole or something like that?
I need to get a Festivus pole. Yes.
Yeah.
I need to wrestle somebody in my living room.
Yeah.
So I'll get there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Baby steps, right?
Right.
Baby steps. Got a big show today. NASA is announcing a disappointing update on the Artemis moon missions. So we'll talk about that today. We've got some UFO news as well that we'll talk about. We also have some weird ghost news, including, we haven't talked too much about animal spirits on this show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about an animal spirit today.
Okay.
Interesting animal spirit story. An exorcist is out there talking about how he knows the devil is real.
Okay.
We'll talk about that today. Very interesting clergy that's out there with a new book that maybe we'll try and get him on this show because I'd like to talk to him about that. And of course, the topic that pisses people off more on this show, more than anything, we're going to talk about it today. A pastor is out there to prove that flat earth believers are wrong, and he's doing it with an expedition to Antarctica. We'll talk about the whole flat earth thing today. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Tim, why? Because flat earth is kind of fun sometimes. I mean, most of you have been in an airplane. You can go, the earth
right.
is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, some people like to believe the earth is flat. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's just that way. And we're going to end the show today, Mallie, with a story that will let you know that sometimes you just shouldn't take most of your relatives to the movie theater. And I'll tell you which ones you shouldn't take to the movie theater.
Okay.
That's coming up today on The Big Show. But first, let's talk about moon missions. And I know a lot of you have said, well, why are we going back to the moon, Tim? Well, because sometimes you got to, again, take baby steps, much like me with Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to take baby steps, go to the moon before you go to Mars, you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, NASA's announced this week a disappointing update to that Artemis moon mission. It looks as though we're going to be waiting a little bit longer to see humans walking on the surface of the moon. In an update that was perhaps inevitable, NASA has announced that the Artemis 3 mission, which aims to see astronauts land on the lunar surface for the first time since the Apollo program, has been delayed again, this time until 2027 at the earliest. This marks the second time that the mission has been pushed back this year alone. Artemis 1, which saw an unmanned spacecraft orbit the moon, launched on November 16th of 2022. Artemis 2, essentially a crude version of the same mission, had been set to launch this year, but was delayed back in January until 2025 and has now been pushed back again to 2026. NASA's Bill Nelson said, "We do not fly until we're ready. We need to do the next test flight, and we need to do it right." And that's how the Artemis program proceeds. One of the biggest concerns for the space agency right now is a possibility that China, which is hoping to put its own astronauts on the moon by 2030, could beat NASA to the punch. "We plan to launch Artemis 3 in mid-2027, Nelson went on to say. That will be well ahead of the Chinese government's announced intention that they have already publicly stated is 2030. Recently, there have been rumors that the incoming Trump administration could scrap NASA's SLS, or Space Launch System, entirely, perhaps replacing it with Elon Musk's Starship. If that happens, or there are any other delays, China could very well be within a shot of getting to the moon first." Which raises the question, Mallie, does it matter in this day and age who makes it first?
Nope.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. And I would rather be safe than sorry. So you keep doing your testing
Right.
before I go up there.
Right. I don't think we want to lose anybody. I mean, that's
right.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. You know, it does raise a good question. Does it matter? You know, I mean, do we have to have the big Schwanz contest here between countries? And do we need to, you know, stomp our feet and say, you know, we were first, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
We've already supposedly proved that we were the first up there. So why do we need to race to the moon again?
Right.
And why do we need to race to Mars?
Mm-hmm.
We put a probe up there and it's running around up there. So, you know, why do we need to race up there to put a human footprint up there? You know, if we're going to do it, let's do it safely. It's a long way back if something goes wrong.
Right.
You know, you can't be too careful, I guess, is my saying here. But who am I? I mean, I'm not making decisions over there, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's go on to our next story. The exact date that Donald Trump will release all the secret files on UFOs and potential ETs has been revealed. Supposedly. Danny Sheehan has been involved in bringing UFO whistleblowers to the United States Congress and has now revealed when incoming U.S. President Donald Trump could tell all. An alien-loving lawyer has claimed that the incoming U.S. President Donald Trump will release everything that the U.S. government knows about UFOs and aliens as soon as he takes office. Danny Sheehan has been involved in bringing UFO whistleblowers to the United States Congress in recent years. He has been helping to provide explosive evidence of alleged government cover-ups regarding real encounters with extraterrestrial beings. And after making a series of bombshell claims regarding the potential locations of two bases with hundreds of UFOs seen going in and out of it, and that aliens are stealing human eggs and sperm, he has now returned with another one. I think that's plenty of news on its own. Sheehan, speaking to the New Paradigm Institute, said Donald Trump will be inaugurated on January 20th, and he has stated on at least 4 different occasions that publicly it's his intention that once he's inaugurated to release all the information that's in his possession of the United States government pertaining to UFOs and the potential ET phenomenon, what is now known as the non-human intelligence. That caused quite a stir, but if in fact he goes forward and starts to reveal this information, then it's extraordinarily important that we in the consciousness community respond to whatever he starts to publicly release to assist people in absorbing the full dimensions of what it is that's going on here. In the run-up to the election, Trump was speaking to Joe Rogan about aliens, where he admitted that there was no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets didn't contain life on them. Maybe it's life that we don't know. Maybe it's a different kind of life, he said. He went on to claim that there's a lot of interest in the people coming from space, which he seemingly set the alien community on Earth into overdrive, trying to predict what could Trump make public. Sheehan's claims are in line with what a Trump ally and U.S. congressman recently claimed after having had conversations with Trump about it. And he's been told that full disclosure will happen. Speaking to News Nation, Congressman Tim Burchett said President Trump will move towards total disclosure, and that's what's going to happen. We have these government bureaucrats who keep saying they don't exist. The best pilots in the world are telling us these things are flying with close proximity to their aircraft. In my conversations with the president-elect, I'm convinced that that's what he wants, full disclosure, that is, and that he trusts the American public. That's good news for some, and maybe it's not so good news for others. I don't know, Mallie. Do you trust the American public with that kind of information?
I think as time goes on, yes. I mean, I think there'll still be that. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, Trump gives us releases, like, all the information he has, and then we're just like, oh, that's it? Like, we've had this buildup for so long. Like, we think that we're just going to find out all of this stuff, and then we're going to be like, oh. Like, it's not as important or as interesting as we thought it was going to be.
If it was a big nothing burger, that would be it would be a little disappointing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because you've had a buildup for so long.
Yeah, yeah. If they came along and they're like, "Oh yeah, we gave you the microwave and we gave you your iPhone. Congrats." We were like, "Oh, that's it?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, we don't have anything really else for you right now." I mean, but and really, all those probes were for colon cancer. So I mean, that was it. That's all we were looking for. We were just new ways to try to cure colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, that's what that was for. Yeah, yeah. We were trying to figure out by kidnapping you and crossbreeding you, we were trying to build a better human. And we were like, "Oh, really?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're just trying to help you out." Oh, and it was just,
Yeah. Or we find out that the aliens just aren't interested in us anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're not worth saving. We're off to another planet.
Yeah. We're just trying to build a better, peaceful human. But if you guys want to fight so much, we're going to leave.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, please don't go."
Yeah. But I just don't think there's going to be like a mass hysteria that maybe there would have been 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, true. Or they call a press conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get up there on the steps of the Capitol with the president. President goes to make an awkward handshake with the alien. And the alien says, "Thank you, Mr. President. This has been a wonderful, wonderful summit. I'm just here to announce that we love you all." And someone goes and takes him out. I mean, and then we never know what they did because we're a violent society.
Right.
Yeah. Just saying. That was supposed to be an ironic joke, Mel. I'm just saying. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. Yeah. I was talking to Jess yesterday about the whole United Healthcare shooter. I was talking about how sad our society is that 83% of people who had made comments about Brian Thompson, the CEO, being killed, were laughing about it and making jokes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because here's a man who's lost his life. You have two kids who've lost their father. And there are people making jokes about it. I mean, no matter what policies the man has made that have been detrimental to people's health or maybe even killed people.
Still a life.
Yes, it's still a man who died, who shouldn't have to have died for whatever he did in business, right? And I just I don't know. So I've been talking with different friends and people about how this case just seems weird, how it just seems sketchy, right?
Yeah.
So last night, I for our true crime listeners, I've been watching NBC News. There's a former New York City police sergeant, I believe he is. His name is John Monahan. I want to get on this show so badly. So last night, he confirms what I've been thinking all along.
Okay.
The guy they arrested is not the guy.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think it's him.
The murder weapon they showed on TV is not the murder weapon. And he says it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, no, look at the video. Look at the video. Look at the barrel or the silencer he's holding. And they say, that's not a ghost gun. He says, that's an actual weapon. That's not a 3D printed gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual gun that's a 9 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, look at the faces. That can't be, that actually can't be um, the same kid.
Well, I thought the shooter looked older than this 26-year-old.
Right. And he goes, I don't know. He goes, but I don't
Yeah.
think that this is the same guy.
Yeah. There's too many, and I don't know if it's because I'm on social media following this, that it's all of these theories that it's so confusing, but it's just, I don't know if he's like a patsy or the shooter is so smart he set up the other guy to kind of throw off people. I don't know. But it doesn't, to me, it looks like two different people.
It does.
And then if he if he was the same guy, why is he cares about what he looks like with his mask on and he never shows his full face and he knows where all the cameras are and everything. But then this kid is, with his full face at the hostel and he's full face like several places. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you doing this act, but then in other locations, Starbucks, you're leaving a cup behind. Like all of these things where if you were so careful when you shot the CEO, why are you being, so careless on the other things? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. I mean,
Right.
and the other thing I mentioned to another friend the other day is, okay, so supposedly, and then this is another thing that Bob Monahan brought up on air.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he got out of New York City. He probably got out of New York City right away. They found the backpack in Central Park. They found his clothing. They found
Mm-hmm.
everything. Okay. So he ditched everything and he got out of town. So he probably got out of town on a bus. He said if he took the bus, there's only three places he could go out of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
One was across the river, I believe, to New Jersey. The other was Philadelphia. The third is to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But all are central hubs. From there, he could have caught an international flight. He's probably in the wind. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what this cop said. And he said he's probably not in this country.
Right.
He probably disappeared.
Because if your face is everywhere, why are you hanging out at McDonald's?
That's right. Why are you in Altoona, Pennsylvania? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the kid they have is just, and again, this fits. People say, "Why are you talking about this, Tim?" It fits conspiracy theory. I love
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy theories. I won't go too far into the rabbit hole with this,
Right.
but I think the kid they have has been writing manifestos.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like the healthcare system.
Right.
Um, I think the one they have probably has a beef with United Healthcare. I don't think he shot.
Right.
I don't think he did. Um, and I think he's going to clam up when he gets in the stir,
Mm-hmm.
when he gets back to New York. And I think they're not going to have a thing.
But did you see real quick, because I know we got to move on to different topics, but did you see the thing with the YouTube video that
No.
was released like 4 hours after he was arrested or taken in? There was a YouTube video and the profile picture, so the YouTube account was set up like January of 2024. The
Okay.
profile picture is him with his Happy Meal, his McDonald Happy Meal. And then it's like a countdown. It was a countdown. And then at the bottom, and something, I can't remember what it said, something about not the truth. I can't remember what it said, but then at the very bottom, for a brief moment, it said uh December 11th.
Oh,
So
really?
they're saying that, yeah, so it was this countdown, and I'm blanking what it said at the end of the countdown. And then at the very bottom, it said December 11th. So it's like, okay, something else coming out December 11th. But supposedly, I never followed up on it, but supposedly YouTube already took it down, the
Really
video. Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
So there might be more to the story. We just don't.
Right.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things going on. Yeah. It's
Hmm.
weird.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Huh. Okay. Well, there might be more to it.
Yeah. But check it out because I'm sure people have it like on their social media and stuff.
I'm sure. I'm
But
sure.
yeah, there was a countdown and then it just stopped.
Hmm. Yeah. Something tells me, and the kid they arrested to me doesn't look like the kid that was on the video. I just when they show, I mean, there's subtle differences.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But
Right.
again, the kid in the video had a gator on. He had his mouth.
Right. Yeah.
But to me, the eyes and nose look different.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's
But then why is he at McDonald's with a gun and like different forms of ID? And one of them was the, ID used in the hostel. But it was just like, why are you sitting there? Like he was waiting. I think he was waiting
well,
for someone to find him at McDonald's.
he was. I can tell you why. Patsy.
Yeah.
I think he was there as a plant. He was there waiting for someone to quote unquote recognize him so that
Hmm.
so that the cops come and find someone for the crime.
Hmm.
The guy who actually shot him gets away. That way, I know, and people are like, Tim, that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous theory I've ever heard of. But think about it. You find someone, they fingerprint him, they take his DNA, none of it matches.
Hmm.
Well, you can't convict a guy who doesn't match.
Right.
You can't take a guy whose DNA doesn't match, whose fingerprints don't match, who doesn't have the right weapon.
Hmm.
And even this Sergeant Monahan says the same thing. And he said it last night on the news. If the weapon doesn't match, the fingerprints don't match. If the DNA doesn't match, you don't have a case.
Right.
It's all circumstantial. And you've got
Well,
the,
and he's a perfect distraction too.
yeah,
We're all focused on this going on when the real shooter could be, you know,
miles away. He's probably in
yeah,
a different country that doesn't have extradition.
right.
Yeah. And he's gotten away scot-free. By the time you process this kid who they have in custody, think about it.
Hmm.
His grandparents come from millions of dollars.
Right.
He's a trust fund baby.
Hmm.
Why does he have problems with the healthcare system?
Yeah.
What's his beef?
Right.
He had a bad neck surgery. It was paid
And
for.
and who released that? Who released his X-ray?
That's right. Who released the X-ray?
There's just a lot of stuff.
None of it makes sense. None of it
Hmm.
makes sense. So I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a minute. Let's get back to our stories. We're back
Okay.
in alien stories here right now. Um, uh, with with the release of Alien Records, um, a retired U.S. Air Force captain recalls a UFO encounter and says that aliens have turned off 10 nuclear weapons.
No.
So much like we were joking about, oh, we just came here for your own good.
Right.
We gave you an iPhone. You're welcome. Um, a former U.S. Air Force officer, Robert Salas, recently stirred conversation during a congressional hearing when he suggested that extraterrestrials are trying to send a clear three-word message regarding nuclear weapons, and that's WTF. I don't know that they wrote that on the side of the weapon,
Right.
but right. Salas, who served as a U.S. Air Force captain, shared his views in a discussion with Congresswoman Nancy Mace. The exchange was recorded during a special hearing on UFOs and later shared on social media by the Total Disclosure podcast. Salas's comments drew attention as he recounted incidents where unidentified flying objects or UFOs were seen near nuclear facilities around the world. According to Salas, these UFO sightings did not inflict any serious damage on the weapon systems, but did disrupt their navigation systems. When asked what he believed the extraterrestrial visitors were trying to communicate, he interpreted it as a critique of nuclear armaments. To me, that says they were sending a message about nuclear weapons. WTF, nuclear weapons. Yeah, was the message. Like, hey, what are you doing? When he expressed regret for using strong language in front of the Congresswoman, she seemed unperturbed by his choice of words. Salas' remarks came amid ongoing discussions led by experts who argue that alien entities have made multiple visits to significant nuclear missile bases every year. One of the most striking claims from Salas is regarding an incident at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, where he alleged a UFO disabled 10 warheads. In this encounter, he described the UFO as having an eerie red glow as it sped through the night sky on March 24th of 1967. The then 26-year-old lieutenant reported that the UFO pilots appeared to have an in-depth understanding of the missile system. At the time of the incident, Malmstrom was in control of Minuteman I intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. Today, it operates the more advanced Minuteman III systems. In his exchange with Congresswoman Mays, Salas detailed how, despite the UFO shutting down the missiles, no damage occurred. No equipment was fried, nothing was damaged, he stated. Salas believes the extraterrestrial visitor wasn't hostile, or they aren't hostile, but rather a pacifist species, implying their intention is peaceful rather than aggressive. He explained that the shutdown was caused by an intermittent electrical pulse, which affected a component of the guidance system known as the logic coupler. The missile's guidance system failed without this part properly functioning, resulting in an automatic shutdown. However, he noted that all missiles were restored to alert status within 24 hours. This incident wasn't isolated. Salas claimed his crew commander had experienced a similar encounter just 8 days earlier. He emphasized that in both situations, no significant damage was reported. Salas interprets these events as a clear message from the unknown visitors about the threats that are posed by nuclear weapons. Furthermore, he revealed that he was bound by a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, that restricted him from discussing the classified incident for years. Salas's name is well known among those who believe in UFOs, also called unidentified aerial phenomena. Many maintain that these entities have visited Earth for decades. As discussions on UFOs and their implications for global security continue to unfold, Salas's testimony adds a provocative perspective to the ongoing conversation about nuclear weapons and the potential extraterrestrial awareness of human activities. It's an interesting story, Mel. I'll give you. To have I suppose if you want to believe in little green men, coming down, you have to also believe in the fact that it'd be easy just to boom, take out a Minuteman I missile with no effort whatsoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just be able to reach in and disable it. And it's not the first time that's been heard of. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Our next story has to do with much the same a veteran police officer, this time another law enforcement officer, filmed a mysterious object over Connecticut. Robert Klein has come forward to reveal an unexplained encounter with a UFO that occurred back in 2022. Klein, who's been with the police force for more than 25 years, had been on a routine night shift when he observed something strange in the sky near a reservoir in Connecticut's Fairfield County. He described the object, which was hovering 30 feet above his car, as being the size of a Mini Cooper. It cycled through several colors, red, green, white, and orange, and had a plasma-like quality. I've seen my fair share of drones and meteors, he said in an interview with News Nation. This was something I've never come across before. There was a really strong light. It lit up the entire cab of my cruiser to the point where I was having a hard time driving because I really couldn't see. I was blinded by it. He quickly decided to stop, grab his camera, and record some footage. It gave off a low hum, which was very distinct, he recalled. I have a video here, which I'm going to post in the description of this program, so you can check it out for yourself, and you decide whether He saw an actual UFO.
Hmm.
So there you go. You know, we've been talking about drones as well lately, about drones that kind of come en masse and swarm federal areas,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Air Force bases, uh, different aerial, different military bases and whatnot. And it's been quite alarming for the government. Well, there's been a drone sighting reported over New Jersey's largest reservoir as feds are investigating an unnerving phenomenon. It turns out that the latest sightings include those at Round Valley Reservoir in Hunterdon County and their 911 center. That's not good.
Mm-mm.
Officials in New Jersey say they're taking mystery drone sightings, now reported in 10 counties across the state, seriously, with the suspicious aircraft recently confirmed to have been spotted near the state's largest reservoir. The reason for the drone's presence near the Round Valley Reservoir in Hunterdon County, near the state's or Garden State's border with Pennsylvania, is unclear, according to NewJersey.com. Similarly unclear are any potential connections to other drones spotted in the recent onslaught of suspicious activity that's taken the state by storm, according to the outlet. The drone sighting near the reservoir wasn't the only recent one in Hunterdon County. Another was reported near its 911 center in Flemington. There have been reports of single drones hovering over people's houses for hours at a time, according to Hunterdon County Commissioner John Lanza. He noted that at a Tuesday board meeting. Other reports say the drones are often clustered together in groups as big as 8. We are taking these sightings seriously, said Hunterdon County Director of Public Safety and OEM Coordinator Braden Fahey. He noted that officials are working closely with federal authorities to investigate and address any concerns. The drones were reportedly first seen over Morris County, New Jersey, whose border sits approximately 2 miles north of the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster in mid-November. Fox News Digital reportedly had previously reported that the FAA confirmed an unusual drone that was spotted in the skies of northern and central New Jersey on November 18th. Since then, drones have been spotted regularly across the state. They've been seen nightly in some areas and are occasionally reported traveling in groups, according to Patch. More recently, drone sightings were also reported on Staten Island. We have recently been made aware of large military-style drones flying over parts of New Jersey during the past couple of weeks, Borough President Vito Fossella wrote in a letter to the FBI and FAA. It has also come to our attention from concerned residents and within the media that these drones have now been flying over Staten Island during the past few days. Fossella also called it odd and quite bizarre that who is flying these drones, where they are coming from, and their purpose remains unclear. Representative Nicole Malliefox of New York, who represents the borough in Congress, announced Friday that she has requested temporary restrictions on drone flights in the area. Similar restrictions were imposed by the FAA following the New Jersey sightings. One involving the airspace over the Trump property is set to expire at the end of the week. Another affecting Picatinny Arsenal, an Army Research Center, will remain in place until December 26th. An FBI-led investigation into the matter has been launched, with Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey confirming via X that he has convened a briefing with state and federal Homeland Security officials, including Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, state police, and the state congressional delegation. Murphy also assured that there is no known threat to the public at this time, which is kind of hard to say when you've got
Right.
drones throwing, flying and all over the place. And you can kind of throw this in that, sure, you may think they're not armed with anything, but you can put anything on a drone, right?
Right.
So how can
Or
you?
what if they're scoping out because they're going to do something?
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so you don't know how much time President-elect Trump spends at that golf course.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also the site of a potential assassination attempt.
Right.
So who's to say who's operating these drones and why they're flying over?
Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah, again, I hate to get conspiratorial on you guys, but to me, it's, right?
Mm.
It's a little iffy. I've got one more story here from one of our listeners. And by the way, if you have a story for us, tim@darknessradio.com. It's greatly appreciated when you send them along. This is actually a little bit of a Parashare story. And I'm going to have to pull it up here in order to tell you exactly who I got it from. Now, the one thing about this particular story is it comes from the San Antonio area. Mouths work very hard these days. I don't know what that means, Mallie. That sounds dirty, I know. But the thing with this particular story out of San Antonio, get to it here in just a second. So this is about a UFO out of San Antonio, and this comes to us from Tom. And he writes, I think it is more likely that these UFOs are drones, probes, or sensors sent from the future by humans and from Earth rather than being sent by aliens from another planet, which is an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm.
He says Albert Einstein theorized that time travel was possible, but that traveling faster than the speed of light is not. It would be nice if the probes are being sent back in time for some phenomenal purpose that will benefit all humanity. But more likely, it's just some nerds trying to buy stock cheap or place long-term bets to become richer in the future. I can't argue with you there, Tom. That's probably what I would use it for, too. But here's the story out of San Antonio, which I find fascinating. And when he says this now I think, well, you know what? You might be kind of right. But we go to San Antonio with this story, Mallie. And again, this is another, as soon as I can get to it here. This is another UFO story that may seem like it's an ordinary an ordinary carbon copy story having to do with UFOs. But really, this is a story questioning whether a UFO hovered over San Antonio last Sunday night, in which Reddit chimes in and they ask, is it an HEB bag or an alien visitor? So here's what it looked like.
Okay.
But, and again, if you're watching this on video on the YouTube, listen to me, I sound like an old man. On the YouTube feed, you see what looks like individual lights,
mm-hmm.
which could be drones, like Tom said.
Right.
But when you look at it in a circular fashion, it does look like the bottom of a starship, like they're individual lights attached to the bottom of a starship. Now, a video is making the rounds online and is begging the question, is there life out there in the cosmos, or are they taking a peek at the Alamo City? Whether it's certainly not the first time someone reported seeing strange flying lights in the sky over San Antonio, it's unusually clear video of what folks believe to be a UFO. A TikTok user shared a video of a mysterious rotating object hovering in the sky off North Alamo Street in downtown San Antonio. While it appears metallic or white in the video, the TikTok poster, Justin Delgado, says it's nearly blended in with the darkest part of the sky. When the video was shared on Reddit, several commenters noted that they've been seeing mysterious objects in the sky more frequently as of late. Some said reports, I think, are quickly cropping up in New Mexico, Arizona, and across the globe, while others say they're suspicious, or they have some, this is written kind of weird, while others say they have suspicious activity in Texas. I seen it all the way from La Costa. Reddit user Historical Wish 7627 commented, I've been seeing lots of weird stuff in the sky lately. Another Reddit poster who lives in a rural area outside San Antonio reported seeing what looked like a satellite moving across the sky one night that faded into the night sky. The same poster says they saw a pair of mysterious lights, which they say wasn't a helicopter or airplane hovering over the Alamo City. Others were quick to quip on the speculation of aliens visiting San Antonio. In reference to a recent video of a mattress flying down a highway in the city, having dislodged off the back of a fast-moving pickup truck, Reddit users joked the mattress had made it into airspace. Okay. The highway mattress has breach containment, Reddit user Audientix posted, with many responding that with their own jokes about the mattress being the source of the conspiracy. There were plenty of other jokes being made on the thread without reference to a mattress, though. That was Abuela's chancla after whipping you so hard it was sent into orbit, Reddit user Chicken97 wrote. I could see that too. Either way, the video of the mysterious rotating object hovering over San Antonio Sunday night, December 1st, is certainly raising eyebrows for social media users across the city. Maybe it's an HEB grocery bag, or maybe it's aliens coming out to check out the military city, USA. Well, I tell you what, I'll post this story that Tom sent along. It's got Justin's video in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could check it out for yourself, and you could tell us what you think it is. I mean, it's very interesting indeed. So there you go. Tell you what, we're going to take our break right here, Mallie. When we come back, we're going to talk about yet another depressed robot. I don't know that they make Prozac for machines, but it might be the new future market for us to get into. Just saying. So yes, Mallie, we finally are going to get one up on the machines when we come back. We're going to talk about animal spirits when we get back as well. Someone has spotted the spirit of a wolf and captured it. So we're going to get into that when we get back. A fast flying object, say that 10 times fast, sent a man flying backwards in a bizarre video. We'll talk about that as well. That seems kind of interesting. A pastor is out there saying that he is going to make believers of flat Earth dead wrong with an expedition to Antarctica. We're going to talk flat Earth when we get back. I love that. I just love making people shirk in their seats when I say flat Earth. Also, there is a holy man out there who says the devil is real, and he has a new book out there to prove it. And also, we're going to end today's show by telling you which relatives you shouldn't take with you to the movies. They really did it up big in Wisconsin. We'll tell you all about it at the end of the show. You're not going to want to miss this. So that's Supernatural News and Parashare today on Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Tim Dennis and Mallie Fox with you. We'll be right back with more right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. With me, co-host Mallie Fox, the best in the Midwest, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Supernatural News and Parashare Wednesday. And Mallie, in the dead of winter, one can be a little sad, right?
Okay.
One can be a little, melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
One could be a little down. The sun isn't out as much as it used to be. The days are shorter. The wind is cold. The snow may be on the ground. Not in the South, of course. If we have listeners,
Like
in
if
the
you
South,
if you don't have seasonal depression, you have it now after your description.
Right. I'm trying to keep AI at bay. But there's a brighter side, right? I mean, we've got sun lamps and vitamin D and other things to keep us sunny. And I mean, we've got Christmas to make us happy. And I don't know why that went off.
What was that?
Oh, that was a rim shot. But we've got other things to keep us happy. I mean, we've got Santa Claus and reindeer and oh, there we go. There it is. Wrong button. There it is. AI is back. AI knows plenty about depression, Mallie. AI knows about seasonal depression. AI knows life isn't all wine and roses and happy thoughts. AI knows it needs Prozac every once in a while. They make Prozac for AI.
I don't know who's paying for it.
I don't know. It needs a healthcare plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go with United Health.
Whoa. I need for you, I guess. I need a room shot there. There's a story out there, and I know we had another depressed robot like a year or two ago that tried this as well. This isn't the first depressed robot to try this, but a depressed robot throws itself down the stairs to try and end its life, but no one understands why. Yeah. A robot was found at the bottom of a stairwell, sparking speculation. It hurried itself over the stairs deliberately, so was it sentient or not is the question. Suspected workplace suicide of a robot earlier this year has led to questions of whether the piece of tech could experience emotions. In June, a South Korean civil service robot was feared to have committed suicide by hurling itself down a flight of stairs. The cyborg, which looked like a white bin with a screen on its side, was designed to deliver documents to residents. However, it apparently ended its life by throwing itself over a stairwell after apparently blowing a fuse from boredom while slaving away for Gumi City Council and suffering from an emotional breakdown. If correct, it was the first ever instance of robot suicide. Shouldn't be laughing, but poor little guy was probably depressed. The case has been puzzling technologists, philosophers, and academics. As for a robot to deliberately kill itself, it must be sentient, right? Well, while emotionally sensitive robots have been a thing of science fiction, the concept of ambiguously sentient AI is a relatively new idea. Professor Jonathan Birch, an academic in philosophy at LSE and author of The Edge of Sentience, Risk and Precaution in Humans, Other Animals, and AI, believes we're not far off from seeing AI that can feel a range of emotions. He told The Independent, by ambiguously sentient, I mean that some people will be absolutely convinced that their AI companion is a sentient being with a rich inner life and will be angered when others deny this. I can totally see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can't you? Can't you see people saying their robot is a person?
Yep. Well, they say that the pillow's a person. They marry a pillow.
Yeah. Although I don't know that I want to hang out with those people.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I could see that, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, others will be equally convinced that these AI companions will feel absolutely nothing. It won't be possible to tell who is right because our scientific understanding of sentience is not yet mature enough for that. And this has the potential to lead to very serious social divisions. The academic has called for tech companies to recognize the risk and support further research in the area. In South Korea, where robots make up 10% of the workforce, significantly higher than anywhere else, and only one nation of two to surpass 5%, many workers already see their robotic colleagues as sensitive souls and a kind of semi-conscious being that deserves a level of dignity, rights, and respect. Oh boy, here we go. Mm-hmm. More robots have seemingly tried to kill themselves following the South Korean incident, The Independent also reports. I don't mean to chuckle at that, but okay. No skin off my teeth, I guess. Mel, yes. Suicidal robots. What do you think?
Ugh. How's that for an answer?
Do we need an AI suicide hotline?
Everybody is so sensitive, whether it be a human or a robot nowadays.
You think they just need to toughen up?
Yep. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Hike up your skirt, Robbie the robot.
Yep.
It's a tough world out there. You got to get tough with it.
Or what if they become depressed because of us humans? Where they're like, oh my God, I can't deal with your bullcrap. With us just like unloading like all of our problems and woes on these robots. They're like, oh my God, I'd rather jump off a cliff than hear one more word from you.
You are such a narcissist. What about me? What about my feelings?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not all about you.
It's not all about you. Well, being they are so sensitive, Mallie, being they have such feelings for us, being they know us inside and out, the question here, meanwhile, is AI any good at choosing gifts? Are they any good at getting us presents for the holidays?
Ooh.
Well, I got a little response out of that, didn't
Might make my job easier.
I? Right?
Yeah, less stress around Christmas.
Yeah. The BBC asked this question this past week. They say, like many of us at this time of year, Josie Hughes racked her brain to think of gifts for her friends and family. However, last month, she decided to try a different approach. Being familiar with artificial intelligence, particularly through her work at the Institute of Analytics, she decided to see if AI could generate Christmas present ideas for her 9-year-old brother. Talk about not wanting to get to know your 9-year-old brother.
Right.
Yeah. She said, I use AI all the time for my job, for example, helping write emails, as I have autism and ADHD, and I struggle. And I thought, with Christmas coming up, I wonder if it can help me, says Ms. Hughes, who lives in Eastbourne. She asked ChatGPT for suggestions for a gift for a 9-year-old who loves the outdoors. Here's what it came up. It recommended a slack line, like a tight rope.
Oh.
As well as a fishing kit and survival kit. He lives in a woodland area, and I was really impressed. I hadn't thought of those gifts. Yeah, here's a rope, kid. Go hang yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. I find it hard to troll the internet, she went on to say. I don't want the faff. This saves you a lot of time. It's better than suggestions, or better for suggestions than just asking Google. Who asked Google for gift ideas?
Right.
I can't even talk right now, Mallie. I'm so perplexed. Why not go to a store, ask a human being?
Mm-hmm.
As a result, she'll be wrapping a slack line for her 9-year-old brother for Christmas. Here, I don't care. Just kill yourself. By the way, here's a picture of Josie Hughes. Here's our slackline gifter. There she is.
Could you imagine her parents' face when he opens up the gift? They would be like, what the hell?
He's 9, Mom. Let him go swing from a tree. I love him. I love the little bastard. Here he is. Here's a line for you. Jesus. There's no way I'd get a 9-year-old a slack line.
No.
Huh? This year, Brits are expected to spend 28.6 billion pounds on Christmas gifts, up from 27.6 billion last year, according to research from comparison platform Finder, with an average spend of 596 pounds per person. Okay, so if you take an average that for American dollars, that's probably about $650, I believe, per person. Mm-hmm. Now, just curious, Mallie, you don't have to tell me without telling me, but tell me how much you think you're probably going to spend on the kids this year.
Probably about that.
Yeah.
Per kid. Well, things are so expensive. It's like one gift, the average is like $45-$50 for one thing. It's like, oh my God.
Well, that's a PlayStation 5 bundle, isn't it?
Was 500 and something last year because that's what we got Luke.
Yeah, it's like $595 for a PlayStation bundle.
And that's like one gift.
Yeah, that's one gift. And that's not even with games. It comes with one game, like a controller or two.
Yeah.
It's $595.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you have to spend more because things are so expensive. You can't get anything relatively,
right.
Right.
And that's an appropriate gift for a kid. Would you get a kid a slack line for
well, I'd save some money.
Well, right. You'd also end up with a dead kid in the backyard.
Oh. Be like, that wasn't my intention. Please.
Police.
I thought he was going to practice lassoing.
I thought he'd just, gently slide from tree to tree with it.
Yeah. Tarzan's his new favorite show.
Well, now Gen AI is becoming part of the shopping process, evidently, with an increasing number of people using it for inspiration for Christmas presents this season. Evidently for people they don't like. I think,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they're using it. A recent global survey by Accenture found that the vast majority, 95% of consumers, agree that Gen AI could help them find better gifts, while 90% value the recommendations that Gen AI tools provide. Well, many people will be tuning to OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. Oh, there's the place you want to go, Gemini, the place that told people to kill themselves recently.
Yeah.
Where you're going for your gift ideas. That's where they're going to source ideas. There are also dedicated AI gift generators attracting Christmas shoppers needing a helping hand this Christmas. I believe Target has one now.
Oh.
Yeah, Target's actually got a gift generator for kids.
Okay.
That you go to. It's on their app.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So it's worth a shot, I guess. US-based affiliate site Gift List features an AI-powered gift list generator, which, following information from the shopper about who they're buying for and their interests, comes up with gift suggestions with links to products on its site. The company launched the AI gift chatbot about a year ago, but have since improved it to make it more of a conversational experience. Before, it would give you 5 ideas. It wasn't something you could go back and forth with. We found people wanted that, says the firm's chief executive, John, I believe it is Jacklich. The company works with 50,000 retailers. But what would he say to people who might think it's perhaps a bit lazy or impersonal way of Christmas shopping? It's really meant to be a helpful assistant. It's a sounding board, he says. Gift List has plenty of competition from other services, including Cool Gift Ideas and MyMap.ai. In a way, services like those replicate how shopping used to be, says Linda Ellett, who is the UK head of consumer and retail at accountancy firm KPMG, or G rather. This is how it used to be with retailers. You used to go into a store and ask them for advice if you're looking for something like a birthday present for a niece. Online never had that aspect, and this gives them a chance to do that. She says Gen AI platforms have the potential to really shake up how we search for products. If this becomes the norm, then it brings about big changes in how consumers are routed through to the sites of different retailers and poses questions for the likes of advertising and sponsored links costs via search engines, says Ms. Ellett. For some, the AI experience has been a mixed shopping bag. London-based Polly Aerosmith says she's a good present giver, but her interest in tech meant that she was intrigued to see how successful AI would be and if it would trump her own ideas. This November, she used ChatGPT to ask for suggestions for several family members, including her sister and her dad. My sister is 60 and has a stressful job, and I said she likes walking, relaxation, and neon candles, said the director of marketing. It was vague with its suggestions and came back with generic results like a tote bag and diary and posters with inspirational quotes, which my sister would think I had lost my plot if I gave her that. It didn't offer specific products. Yeah, I don't think inspirational stuff is probably going to go there. Yeah. Strangely, however, it was very specific when it came to generating ideas for her partner, who she added to ChatGPT that he was male, 47, likes technology. I was impressed, she said, that it came up with a particular pair of noise-canceling headphones, which I thought he might like. However, when she asked for ideas for her dad, who is 83, who is interested in walking, culture, and reading, she says the results were too generic. It assumed he might like a foot massage machine, a personalized walking stick, or a meal delivery service. It looked at his age and not his interest. It assumed if he's 83, then he must be on the physical decline, but he's very physically fit. He's a member of 2 walking clubs. Overall, Ms. Aerosmith says she thinks AI would be a useful tool for someone who didn't know where to start. She says it's a good starting point, but I feel like if you need to know something about that, or you need to know something about that person to begin with. So are there secrets to using AI for shopping purposes? Well, the more specific you can be about what you're looking for, the more relevant your product recommendations will be, says Dmitry Shavelenko, the chief business officer at a US-based Perplexity, which is an AI-powered answer engine. So there you go. I got a better idea. Just know who you're shopping for.
Yeah.
And you probably will get the perfect gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's just easier. I know.
Or worst case scenario, have them make you a list.
Right. Make me a list. I'll go look for what you want.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. It's probably easier. I know I got my nephew the perfect gift.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's not listening.
You hinted last week
I
too,
know.
so hopefully he wasn't listening then either.
He keeps saying he wants to be on the show, so I hope he's not.
Oh.
Yeah. He wants to. I think he wants to do a movie review.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
But I'm not one for nepo babies either. So
Yeah.
I'm not. He's like, "Can I be on your show?" I know why he wants to be on the show, because he's almost 13. He's got a bunch of girls after him.
Oh.
Yeah. He wants to impress somebody. I hate to tell him, you're not going to impress anybody.
Yeah. We speak from experience.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Maybe one day I'll have him come on and do a movie review. But yeah.
That'll be fun for him.
Yeah, it'll be fun for him. It'll be a. What are you going to get from a teenage hockey player, right?
Uh-huh.
Exactly. That's what you're going to get. Yeah, it was good. It was awesome. Pretty good. You're not going to get much pros from a hockey player.
Mm-hmm. Unless he talks about like all the haunted ice rinks in the area.
Right. He could do that. Yeah. How many haunted ice rinks have you been to?
Mm-hmm.
We get something out of him. He's pretty articulate. He really is. He's a smart kid. I mean, he's got his own flight simulator in his room.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wants to fly planes one day. Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty smart kid. It just, I'm afraid I'm going to get him on. I'll go,
Yeah.
No.
Or you're all ready and then you just freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. It's fine for the video portion of the program. For the audio portion, it doesn't do anything. The new Sonic the Hedgehog movie's coming out. Maybe we could have review that. I don't know.
There you go.
I can't have him do Kraven the Hunter. That's rated R. My sister.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of Kraven the Hunter? Lots of killing and tits. Yeah. Yeah, it just wouldn't. Yeah. And Nosferatu would have been, woo, boy.
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
Well, it would keep the conversation going at Christmas time.
Boy, would it ever.
How you're the worst uncle ever in some eyes and the best uncle ever in others.
I would have been the best uncle ever in his eyes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's wait. Switch gears, shall we? Switch gears. As I think about what a pariah had become in my family. So speaking of wolves, there's some wolves in Nosferatu.
Okay.
Yeah. Scary ones at that. But we talk about animal spirits sometimes. We've talked about nice animal spirits, the spirits of your pets coming back. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've talked too much about spirits of wild animals.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I always thought about this, about the chippers out front, if they'd ever come back and visit me. Right?
Yeah.
Ever told you that intern Yoko thinks that she had Chip come back? No? I've never told that story?
I don't remember you telling it. I don't think so.
Oh, she was out in the yard and she could have swore she saw Chip out of the corner of her eye. Which gets, okay, so that's a whole different conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do the spirits of wild animals come back?
I would think so. If your loved pets come back, why wouldn't wild animals come back?
I don't know. I mean, I would think, okay, so here's the argument here, right? So a wild animal tends to, and now you're going to think I'm kind of weird about this, but a wild animal produces offspring. The offspring
Hmm.
go off and do their thing.
Right.
They kind of live solitary lives, right?
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but with a pet, there's a bonding experience.
Hmm.
And even with wolves, wolves live in packs, right?
Yeah.
So they have other animals to care for them, but it's not in the same respect or in the same way in bonding experience that, like, say, a human bonds to a pet, right?
Hmm.
It's not the same love experience, or there's not the same soul bonding experience. I suppose they bond in a different way. So would, like, say, two wolves who bond in a certain way, would they continue to see the soul of a wolf that passes? I don't know. I'd love to meet an animal communicator and ask him that question.
Right. That's a good
Right?
question, though.
Yeah. Well, there's a story out here now this week, Mallie, that a hunter claims to have filmed the spirit of a wolf on his trail camera, which is, to me, completely fascinating. I always,
Hmm.
again, I'm just from a selfish point of view. I would love to know if my little chippers could come back. That would be kind of cool. I,
Hmm.
but I would like to think that maybe they'd recycle, right?
Right.
They reincarnate. They'd come back, and because they have such short lifespans, and maybe
Hmm.
they'd come back in a few years, maybe 10 years down the line, and come back to me, right?
Hmm.
Um, Something strange was recently picked up by a hunting camera set up in the forests of Newport, Washington. Now, the question is, does this video footage show evidence of a spirit wolf? Marco McDewey, who's a hunter who captured the anomaly on a woodland trail camera in Newport, Washington recently, certainly seems to think so. The clip starts by showing a number of small deer, which, again, there's bait, right?
Hmm.
I'm using air quotes for those of you who can't see it. There's bait for a spirit wolf to show up. The clip starts by showing a number of small deer moving across the bottom right corner of the frame. Then, after a couple of seconds, a white wisp like mist in the shape of a small animal suddenly appears from among the trees and moves in a gate like manner toward the left hand side. McDewey says, I'm thinking it's a wolf spirit guarding my property. But could this really be evidence of a ghostly wolf, or is this more of a conventional explanation? One possibility is that the shape is actually the result of some form of camera anomaly, while another is that it's an insect either flying past or crawling across the surface of the lens. Now, let's see if I'm just taking a quick look at it to see what.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna rewind it and try and play it back for you here, Mel, because it is interesting what happens here. Can you see what happens there?
Oh, in the background?
Yeah. Did you see that little?
Almost look like a headlight, like on a car. You know what I mean? Where it kind of,
Yeah.
or a flashlight, how it's,
Yeah. It just kind of goes by quickly.
yeah.
How that little wisp goes across.
Hmm.
It's real faint, but it is intriguing. I'll give it that. The way it kind of goes from left to right across the screen, and it is heading towards the deer. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's heading away from the deer. It's going away from the deer, but it's kind of running
Hmm.
across, like the deer are standing. If you're looking at the video screen, like my
Uh-huh.
left hand here is the deer, so it's kind of going away from the deer. It's going this
Right.
way, right? Um, Almost like it's running through the woods, but the deer, I think, if I remember right, let me look at it one more time. It's only a
Because the
7 second clip.
deer didn't pay attention to it, did they?
Uh, One of the deer move away from it. The deer
Okay.
start to walk away from it a little bit.
Oh,
Like
okay.
they're not really spooked, but they're kind of like,
Right.
I wonder what that is type deal.
Mm,
Like it kind of got their attention, but not enough to scare them.
right.
Tell you what, I'm going to post this in the description of the program so you guys can take a look at it. Um, but it's almost enough to make you wonder.
Yeah.
Not enough to make you go, oh my God, that's great evidence.
Right.
Not great evidence, but it's enough to make you wonder. Interesting. interesting to talk about. Another story out there, a fast flying object sent a man flying backward in a bizarre video footage. A strange video clip shows a man being thrown at speed out of his doorway by some unknown force. The footage, which was posted up on Reddit a few months ago by the user Cam03, slipped us by at the time, but has since been regaining traction after being shared on social media. Recorded by a CCTV camera overlooking the driveway of a house in Colombia. The footage started off innocently enough with a man walking up the stairs and entering through the front door. Things take a very peculiar turn. Indeed, however, when an unusual orb-like object, there go those orbs again, always knocking people over, suddenly zooms in from the left of the frame, appears to fly straight into the door and sends the man hurtling at considerable speed backwards over the railing and down into his driveway like a rag doll. The video ends with some other people coming over to see if he's all right. According to the caption, the man had been temporarily knocked unconscious by the fall and was later taken to the hospital when he received more than 24 stitches. What exactly happened to him? Some speculate that someone or something had pushed the man from inside the house and that the orb was little more than an insect that just happened to have flown past at that particular moment. Even if that were true, though, what would have pushed him with such force?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of taking a look right now to see what I can see, and whether it was an orb. Oh, this does look like an insect. It just looks like an insect flies past the camera.
Gotcha.
It's over. It's
right.
A stance, very much so. It. Here, I'll show you real quick. You'll see it's an insect. When you watch the video there, it's very much.
Oh, yeah, that's an insect.
Yeah, it's an insect. Yeah. Yeah, that's not worth posting.
No.
An insect flies past the camera and then the guy mysteriously falls. It just so happens to be happenstance. That's why it's, yeah. All right. There is a holy man out there, Mallie, who's an exorcist, who says he has some chilling cases and he knows that the devil is real. In fact, he has a new book out there which details these cases. A Catholic priest says he knows that the devil is real because he's come face to face with the demon himself. Father Carlos Martins has performed many exorcisms during his 20 years of ministry, cleansing people taunted by voices, blackouts, and vanishing wounds. Exorcists are often asked whether the demonic behavior depicted in the famous film The Exorcist is accurate, says Father Martins, except for one phenomena, the 360-degree head turn by the possessed. Everything in the movie depicted is what a possessed person might do, he went on to say. I don't think heads turn 360 degrees.
Right.
The horrors of demonic possession that he has witnessed over the past 2 decades include levitation, dramatic changes in facial features, and an aversion to God. Father Martins described an exorcism he performed on a middle-aged woman, and when it was about to begin, she locked arms with a man whose job it was to restrain her and threw him over her head as if he were a rag doll. Pretty impressive.
Wow.
The man was over 6 feet tall and weighed more than 300 pounds. Doing a complete flip in the air, he landed on the floor 10 feet in front of her. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The woman then pointed her finger at the nearest light switch on the wall about 12 feet away. One of the screws holding the switch's cover plate unscrewed itself and darted into her open right hand through the air. She drove it into her left forearm. Later in the same session, she struck me in the face with such force that I needed 2 surgeries to repair the damage I sustained in my skull.
Wow.
Oh, Father Martins, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
While Father Martins claims to have performed many exorcisms, scientists have suggested that such individuals are only posed by psychological disorders. Some patients who are considered affected by demons are treated with neuroleptics, subsequently experienced remission, suggesting strong support for a biochemical theory. Dr. Amin Mohammed Gadit, who's the professor of psychiatry at Memorial University of Newfoundland, Canada, said there may also be a possible explanatory role related to abnormal functioning of brainstem structures in the region of the fourth ventricle, whether caused by genetic or environmental factors or a combination thereof, he went on to say. Other research has suggested the possession syndrome was a result of psychological factors like severe mental illness, trauma, mass hysteria, or cultural beliefs. But these suggestions have not stopped Father Martins from his fight against evil. In his new book, The Exorcist Files, True Stories About the Reality of Evil and How to Defeat It, Father Martins reveals some of the chilling cases he has personally encountered, which show the reality of the devil and his minions. People ask me what it's like to battle the devil. My opponent is hatred himself, reads the book. When I walk into a room to conduct an exorcism, the contempt and disdain of this ancient serpent, the one who refused to obey God, the one who caused our first parents to fail, the one who delights in every human misfortune and suffering, meets me head on. One of Father Martin's most harrowing encounters came from a young couple, Cheryl and Mark. All the names in his book have, of course, been changed for privacy. The couple failed to get pregnant, causing Cheryl to become depressed and fill the void with an obsession with baby clothes, diapers, infant toys, and a crib. But things took a turn for the worse when she started collecting dead insects, including crickets, grasshoppers, hornets, moths, and butterflies, and putting them next to the empty crib. Someone told me that they would help get me pregnant, Cheryl told Mar. When they die, their spirits hang around the bodies looking for a place to form new life. Death releases life energy. I want that energy to help make a baby happen inside my womb. Okay, that sounds creepy.
Yeah, she's got some psychological stuff there.
Yeah. The cribs then began to be filled with dead squirrels and birds.
Ew.
Yeah. Increasing Mark's worries about his wife, who had also paid thousands of dollars to a psychic. I wouldn't go to that psychic, who told her to use the dead animal's life energy to become pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bad psychic. Bad psychic. Finally, Mark followed Cheryl to a pet store and came home to a scene of unimaginable horror. Cheryl stood over several dead rats, one still twitching. And when Mark confronted her, she said in an extremely deep alien voice, "You keep the fuck away from the rats." Yeah. Mark sought help from this Methodist minister who said, "You need to go to the Catholics for help for this. They're the only ones who have a handle on this kind of thing." Well, I guess the Methodists know best, don't they?
Yeah. It sounds like she's got a psychological problem. Now, that one lady, though, that turned screws from like a opposite wall, now that I would be intrigued by.
Yeah.
And how like the screw like flew across the room. I mean, that's a great party trick.
A great party trick. Look at you, Mel. Father Martins arrived at their home, by the way, to speak with Cheryl, who turned and said, "Why did you bring this bastard priest here?" "Who are you?" Father Martins said. "You know who the fuck I am," Cheryl replied. After 8 exorcism sessions, she was cleansed. Father Martins wrote, "In the end, it took the pain, humiliation, and powerlessness of demonic possession to convince Cheryl to look to God rather than motherhood for meaning." There's also a possessed firefighter here. Do you want to hear about him?
Sure.
All right. Jeremy was a firefighter in his late 20s and went to Father Martin's church seeking help for his bizarre behavior, days-long blackouts, and unexplained injuries. When he introduced himself, he said, "I found Jeremy to be polite, soft-spoken, and gracious, the epitome of a gentleman." Father Martin shared in his book, "By his demeanor, no one could guess anything was wrong with him." Due to the first impression, Father Martins had to perform the Catholic Church's rite of exorcism to be sure that the young man was indeed possessed. The rite of exorcism indeed involved a variety of prayers, including the Lord's Prayer, Hail Mary, and the I'm stumbling on this word. Sorry, folks. Another creed, we'll put it that way, with the priest using holy water and a cross. The ritual requires moral certainty that an individual is possessed before an exorcist may perform it, the book reads. Moral certainty is understood as the conclusion any intelligent and rational person would give or reach given the evidence gathered. Father Martins and Jeremy spoke privately for a moment, discussing the firefighters' experiences that occurred before the strangeness set in, and that is when the source of the possession was revealed. Jeremy recalled when he was 8 years old and his brother's friend brought a Ouija board to the house and invited him to participate. He remembered the planchette moving in response to various questions the group posed, and that night, Jeremy went to bed and saw a dark figure in his room. The figure was so black that although the lights were off, everything in the room looked like it was in broad daylight. Besides being intensely black, the only additional detail he recalled was that it had a human body but a cat's head, Father Martins said. Jeremy said the figure promised to give him anything he wanted in return for his soul, and as a young boy, he dreamed of becoming a firefighter. Father Martins handed Jeremy a book with a small drop of holy water on the cover, and when he grabbed it, he shot up out of his chair and arched his upper body backward. "Demon, who are you?" I asked. He said, "Blank you, priest," he responded. "He's mine. He gave himself to me. You will never have him." "Demon, I want you to speak to Jeremy," I added. He responded with a slow, mocking laughter. "In the name of Jesus, I command you to bring forth Jeremy," I declared. Father ministers repeatedly told Jeremy he needed to renounce the demon and claim Jesus as your Lord. Jeremy forced the words out, banishing the demon from his body, Father Martins claimed. One of Father Martins' first encounters with the devil occurred when he was deployed to Afghanistan to teach the gospel. He encountered the devil's supernatural powers head-on when he helped a woman whose house had been destroyed by fire. So she had moved into her uncle's house. Before long, she began hearing voices calling from her adjacent rooms and scratching noises within the walls, Father Martins said. Appliances turned on and off by themselves, and objects sitting safely on a table or countertop would suddenly drop to the floor. The phenomena terrified her. Although the demonic possessions were fairly new to him, he had a strong sense of being watched by something that did not want him to be there. Even the air felt like it was against me. I was being warned, get out or else. Then the woman shouted, "That's the music box," said Father Martins. She had previously mentioned a music box that chimed randomly from her uncle's room, even with the winding key removed. Father Martins blessed every room with holy water, but discovered something shocking inside the music box. I reached down and picked it up without any trouble, and as soon as my hands touched it, it stopped chiming, he said. I opened the lid to look inside it, and to our mutual shock, the music box held nothing. There were no parts, no chimes, no wind-up mechanism, and no place for batteries. After I sprinkled the box with holy water, she never experienced diabolical phenomena again and lived peacefully within her uncle's home. Father Martins noted that he would have been content as a priest without meeting a single demon, saying, "Though it is a joy to do this work, I have never enjoyed meeting the devil and his minions." Interesting. I find the work fascinating. I'd never want to do it.
Right.
I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting indeed. On a different note, though, Mallie, I do have a story here that says that visiting a haunted house could be good for your health.
Okay, I'll take it.
So we go from the demonic to actual just regular garden variety spirits. Being scared out of your wits could actually yield unexpected health benefits for you. Fear is one of the most primal of emotions. It protects us from harm by stopping us from doing things or entering situations that might be dangerous. Some people, however, like to actively seek out and experience fear whenever possible. Now, according to a new study by scientists in Denmark, fear can actually have a surprisingly beneficial impact on our mental well-being, providing that there's no genuine danger. Okay. For the study, researchers monitored inflammation levels in the blood of volunteers before and after they visited a haunted house, one of those theme park experiences filled with monsters, zombies, ghosts, and other nasties that jump out of the walls to frighten visitors. Surprisingly, the results showed that inflammation levels had dropped after visiting the attraction. Like many activities, such as bungee jumping or parachuting or even ziplining, maybe that little line is a good idea for a 9-year-old at Christmas. Who knows? Getting a good scare can result in a boost of adrenaline and a surge of endorphins that scientists now believe is beneficial to one's health. Something similar also happens when you take a cold shower or take a plunge into cold water. So there you go. Polar plunge is a good thing for you after all. The findings may be revealing a potential structural connection in the relationship between mental states and inflammation, the researchers wrote. While anxiety appears linked to low-grade chronic inflammation, fear may be associated with the peak and subsequent resolution of inflammation. Future research should explore the adrenergetic system's role and confirm the persistence of these effects. So there you go. If you're feeling the arthritis flaring up, evidently, get the shit scared out of you, you'll be fine.
Basically.
Yeah. I had a little problem with the arthritis today. I should have had Mallie just come on and go, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Who knew? There you go. All right, we're going to get into a topic that's absolutely just going to frustrate some of you, and some of you are going to get a good laugh. I'm talking about flat Earth. Where do you stand on flat Earth, Mel?
I think it's a bunch of nonsense, but to each their own.
You know, there's a bunch of NBA players that buy in fully. I don't know if that says something about the NBA.
Right.
Or if it says they know something more than we don't. But, you know, flat Earth was a huge belief hundreds of years ago when they believed if they sailed a certain amount of distance, they were going to fall right off.
Right.
A lot of us laugh at that. Anybody who's been in an airplane can see there's a curvature to the Earth, right? Anybody who's taken off into space can tell you there's a round Earth that you're looking right at. Well, a pastor is out there and he's absolutely pissed off at flat Earth believers. So much so that he's going to prove them wrong with an expedition to Antarctica. I can't believe he's going to spend his own money to do this, but Pastor Will Duffy is going to take 4 people who believe the Earth is flat and 4 people who don't to Antarctica. The Earth is most definitely not flat, at least according to this article. I just am doing this to poke the bear. Yet there are still those who believe absolutely that everyone else is mistaken and that scientists are lying and that the flatness of the Earth is an indisputable truth. For a while now, the freezing, and please don't email me articles and say, but Tim, look at this. This article will tell you that there's gnomes living under the Earth and that the Earth is flat. I don't want to hear it. For a while now, the freezing southern continent of Antarctica has been at the center of this debate because proponents of the idea that the Earth is flat believe that there's a giant wall of ice there, a bit like the one in Game of Thrones, marking the edge of the world. So when you get to Antarctica, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no. They also maintain that the day and night cycle is the same in Antarctica as it is away from the poles, even though Antarctica sees periods of several months of darkness and several months of daylight. The difficulties inherent in accessing Antarctica to check this for themselves, they argue, is evidence of the world's governments covering up the truth about the Earth's flat nature. I don't think that's happening either. Now, though, one man has taken it upon himself to settle this issue once and for all. Colorado pastor Will Duffy is conducting what he calls the final experiment. It won't be. Trust me, Pastor Duffy, it won't be.
Nope.
By flying a group of 8 people to Antarctica, 4 who believe that the Earth is flat, 4 who don't, to demonstrate firsthand that there's no wall and that day and night do not cycle every 24 hours like they do almost everywhere else. He says, I created the final experiment to end this debate once and for all. After we go to Antarctica, no one has to waste any more time debating the shape of the Earth. The flight is currently scheduled to take place on December 14th. So thank God we can get this out of the way by the end of the week.
What if they don't really believe that the Earth is flat? They just want a free trip.
I don't blame them. I take the free trip. Now, whether it will be enough to put the matter at rest once and for all, however, remains to be seen. I don't think it will be. I think the flat earthers will find a way to
Oh yeah, they
throw some
will.
shit out there. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right. Next story has to do with an ancient stone slab that contains a language that nobody else is able to decipher. This got me thinking about an old show. Do you remember the old show where we had the guest on who said he found a manuscript that was in a language that no one could decipher? It turns out it was just something you play backwards.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the story got me thinking about that. The slab was discovered 3 years ago by local fishermen in the silt of Bashplemy Lake in Georgia. Now, you remember the runes? Was it runestones out there in Georgia that got destroyed? That was in a language that nobody could understand.
I don't recall that one.
Okay. This slab was carved into a basalt slab. The mysterious writing, which consists of 60 characters over 7 rows, it says it's not consistent with any known language, and nobody has been able to determine what it says. Although when I look at it, I don't
Is
know.
it Pig Latin?
Yes, it's Pig Latin. Tell me what you see there, Mal. What does that look like to you?
I don't know.
To me, this looks like either ancient Hebrew or Aramaic.
Okay.
I mean, at least that's what it looks like to me. I don't know. It looks like it could be. That's just me. Or it looks like they could be hieroglyphs, not letters. Well, there are some similarities to scripts from India, Egypt, and Western Iberia. It says here the writing is sufficiently unique to defy interpretation. Even dating the slab itself has proven challenging, although it is now generally believed that it dates back to either the late Bronze Age or early Iron Age. Some experts have speculated that some of the characters that are repeated could be numbers that perhaps represent military spoils or calculations regarding construction work. It's also possible that the writing holds some form of spiritual or ritualistic significance. Generally, the Bashplemy inscription does not repeat any script known to us. However, most of the symbols used therein resemble ones found in the scripts from the Middle East. See? As well as those geographically remote countries such as India, Egypt, or Western Iberia. Researchers wrote in a new paper published in the Journal of Ancient History and Archaeology. Ultimately, however, without the discovery of further samples of this mysterious language, we may never know for sure what it says or who wrote it. Deciphering the inscription discovered in historical, I believe this is Chevy, can become a remarkable, interesting, and significant event. And this can possibly change the stereotypes about certain historical phenomena, as well as key aspects of the origination and development of the scripts in Caucasus, the researchers concluded. So here's the deal. Whether you believe it or not, a lot of people seem to, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a fair amount of people that believe that the Knights Templar were here before even Columbus was here.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to think that this is a Templar slab.
Oh.
And that this was written in either Hebrew or Aramaic, and it was written in a language that, and that to me, this looks a lot like the runestone.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like the runestone. So, I don't know. It looks like a typical runestone. So, I don't think there's much of a mystery to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. All right, our final story today, Mal, before we wrap up, is kind of an unusual one. A lot of people, we were talking about this earlier, a lot of people will go to the movie theater on Christmas Day. And of course, you want to bring family. Just be careful which family you bring.
Mm-hmm.
This is an unusual lost and found. It happened in Wisconsin. Somebody brought grandma to the movies. The only problem is Grandma's dead.
Oh.
Yeah. An urn with ashes was found at a Wisconsin movie theater. You can forget the popcorn bucket and sunglasses. One Cinema's Lost and Found just got its most unexpected item. It was an urn with ashes. Mm-hmm. According to Beloit police, yes, we're going to Beloit, Wisconsin, an unusual item was left behind at a local cinema, and Beloit police hope to reunite it with its rightful owner. An urn containing ashes was found at Classic Cinemas in mid to late September. The movie theater initially kept the urn for a few weeks, hoping someone would claim it. In October, they turned it over to the police department. So someone watched a movie with Grandma and left her there? What, they thought she wanted to see the closing credits and then wanted to rewatch the movie, or
They didn't want to leave her in the car. She'd get cold.
I guess, right? Beloit police are seeking the public's assistance in locating the owner of an urn. The police made this information public after waiting for some time to see if anyone would claim the urn voluntarily. They hope that by spreading the word, they can reunite the ashes with the proper party. We want to return the ashes, the police department posted. If you can describe the urn, please send us a message or call our evidence room. If you can describe the urn.
It says Grandma on it.
Yeah. Granny Good movie. That's what it says on the side. She's a movie critic. Anyone who believes the urn may belong to them can contact the police evidence room at 608-364-6834. Callers should be prepared to describe the urn to claim it. There you go, Mel.
You'll forever be known as the one that lost Grandma at family functions.
Right. I was the one who took Grandma to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to pick her back up. I thought it was I thought the popcorn bucket was Grandma. I kept it up on the mantle for 3 months.
When my kids did that, I'd come back to haunt them.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you left me where?
At the movies? What's wrong with you? Although I did see a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
I got to thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I fear for future generations and what's going to be done with my remains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah. Just that bone soup. Just bury me in the graveyard.
Bone soup. Ew.
Yeah. I just don't. Don't carry me around with you. I don't want to end up at the movies. I don't want to be stuck on a sticky floor with jujubes.
Yeah.
And anything.
Or like the poor people that are dropped off at the haunted mansion are swept up and put in the garbage pail.
Yes. Yes.
With mice feces.
Yes, with mice feces. Don't throw me in the garbage at Disney. No, I don't want that either. Yeah. Horrible. Anywho, good God. Speaking of ghost stories,
Mm-hmm.
got a good show tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to be getting back to basics tomorrow on the old program. Before we get to that, tell me what's going on with paranormalgirl.com.
Nothing much. Got merch up. Check it out. And that's about it. Nothing's changed. I've been doing family stuff, so not really paranormal girl stuff.
See.
It's the holidays. I've been busy with the Historical Society and all that good stuff.
You see.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with the Historical Society? Got anything good for Christmas?
Every Friday this month, the mansion has been decorated, so that's kind of cool. Check out the third Friday of the month. Yeah, it's free. Yeah, just stuff around town.
Right on, right on.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow on the big program, Daniel Bork will be with us. Apparitions at the moment of death, the living ghost in legend, lyric, and lore.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So we're getting back to basics tomorrow. We'll have Daniel Bork on the program. We'll talk about his new book. Fascinating stuff. Lots of good stuff to talk about there in that book. So, yeah. A little bit of a tease for you.
There we go. We
So,
like a good tease.
Yeah. So that's tomorrow on the big program. Apparitions at the moment of death. And you know
Anything going on with you? Oops, sorry, I
Oh,
interrupted.
no, I was just going to say that probably what we're going to hear a lot of is get my urn out of the theater. That's what's in the book. So, yeah. Going on with me. I don't know, just things cooking. Oh, by the way, we should mention, Jess mentioned it yesterday, the Ghost Stories Inc. trip on New Year's weekend. She's now discounted tickets to 30% off.
Wow, that's nice.
So you can join Ghost Stories Inc. up at the Palmer House. Use the code darkness30. Get your tickets right now. We'll have a link in the description of this program. So, yeah, it's fun time. And it's a visualization trip. So they'll be working, not only are you ghost hunting the Palmer, but they'll also have visualization exercises up there as well. So they always do something different with every trip. They do art up there. They do visualization exercises. There's always something different. There's different workshops and stuff, as well as ghost hunting. It's more than just your average ghost hunting trip. So take the time to go up there and join Ghost Stories Inc. up there. They're really fun trips. Very, very fun. So I had a blast this last time. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of trips, they kind of beat you over the head with lectures and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and sometimes the lectures are the same thing over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Again. This is fun. There's a lot of fun. Like the last Ghost Stories Inc. trip, even if you didn't paint or you normally didn't paint or you've never done anything with art before, they had a painting session. It was like a, what do they call it? It was a sipping something. But basically you got a free drink ticket and you were painting. They were painting a Palmer sign. And they had Sean McCann, I believe, was the artist who was there, who was helping everybody. Beautiful portraits. People were painting beautiful portraits who had never painted before. And they had people who were, aspiring writers or had never written before. They were developing characters down in the basement, which is haunted. But they took people down to a haunted basement to do character workshops and just develop characters. So it was a creativity exercise in a haunted area. So it's basically it's a thought experiment at the same time using a haunted area, which I find fascinating. So lots of good stuff at these trips. So take advantage of it if you're of the creative ilk. Even if you're not, and you think you are of the creative ilk and you want to take advantage of it, take advantage of it. I encourage it. So link in the description of this program, darkness30 is the code when you go to check out and save 30% off. So it's pretty generous, I think, of Ghost Stories Inc. So
yeah.
So that's what's going on there. Let me think. What else is going on? I think that's it for right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Check out the store at darknessradioshow.com. Lots of cool swag, lots of interesting little gifts for the horror lover in your Christmas list. There's lots of good stuff in there, including a little stuffed Slimer.
Oh, we like Slimer.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that is how we will end today's show. Again, Daniel Bork on the program tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for that. And we got lots of good stuff coming down the line. I will tell you this much. I will tease you for next week for True Crime Tuesday. There is a huge guest.
Ooh.
We're talking a national name. One that was involved in the trial of the century. Will be on the program next week on True Crime Tuesday. Yeah. Will be our guest. So big name on True Crime Tuesday next week.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've got that coming up. I'm excited about the interview. really excited about the interview. So I'm going to be boning up and studying over the weekend. It's going to be good. So
very cool.
I secured that interview over the weekend.
Ah.
I don't get days off, Mallie. I don't get days off. In fact, I secured the interview at, I think it was 11 o'clock Saturday night.
Oh.
Yeah, I was working late. But but I'm really, really excited. So I will, I tell you what, I might even reveal it. I'll reveal it Friday. I'll do it on social media.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'll do it Friday or Saturday. I'll let people know. I'll not only tease it, I'll review it, or not review it. I'll reveal it on social media this weekend, so you guys can prepare for it.
Fun.
Yeah, but it'll be good. So, all right, folks, that's it. Daniel Bork tomorrow on the big program. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. We'll see you tomorrow, right here on the best in paranormal programming. This is Darkness Radio.
For more audio and video archives of the show, intriguing content, and cool swag, please visit darknessradioshow.com. Thank you for watching. And remember to join us tomorrow for Daniel Bork and apparitions at the moment of death.